103.37 FM. Talk Radio.
Engage.
Hi, this is Matt from 103.37 FM, Nerd Talk Radio, and I'm here with our good friend Jeff Finch and our kind of friend Mark.
Kind of friend. I'm only a kind of friend at this point.
Yeah, you're just a friend.
Oh, okay.
I'm the good friend.
I'm only one third of the usual
33.33.
Yeah, 33.333% of this podcast.
Yeah, so I'm 33.334.
Technically now, this is my third appearance on your podcast, so technically I'm a percentage in there too. So you guys aren't actually.
Yeah, that's right. He's that
33.333%. You're probably more like 31. It's probably less than that because you guys have had many other guests.
No, he's more like he's actually like a 3% if he's been on that many times.
Well, Joe would then be a 4%.
Yes, so we wouldn't be all 33.3s then.
You're probably like 27 or 28% now.
Yeah.
Because you figure Joe's been on 4 or 5 episodes. I've been on 3. Little Jonah was on 1. And
yes.
You had like 1 or 2 other ones too, right?
Steve Hall was on 1.
In word count, you blow everybody out of the water because, well, Steve Hall, when he was on, he did say quite a bit.
Joe doesn't really talk.
Joe don't talk. Joe, yeah.
Everything Joe says is gold, though. When I listen to podcasts with him, like, I crack up every time. I'm like, Joe's all right.
So yeah. I love Joe. Joe's a guy.
He's the Chris Pontius of your jackass, is what he is.
Yes, he is.
He doesn't say much, but everything he says is on point and worth hearing.
He also dances around in like a
he's party boy. Oh, you guys like to party?
Yeah, he's our party boy.
He'll just whip his clothes off.
I just ripped my pants off. You guys can't see it, but
we try not to pay no mind to it because it's just a normal occurrence. To us, it's like the wind blowing or the sun shining.
It's like when someone has like a disability, you don't gotta look at it.
Yeah, a goiter on their neck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this Nerd Talk Radio episode 33.
33. Yes.
Wow,
that's crazy.
And we got Finch on here which isn't really a sort of a planned episode because we tend to sort of plan the episodes a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're sans Mike tonight. Yeah. We don't have the Mikester.
He's partying and eating sushi.
Is he?
Yeah.
I still have not spoken to Mike, by the way. All the podcasts I've done with you as a guest have been sans Mike.
It just sounds like I've never seen you and Mike in the room together.
Maybe it's like the Snuffleupagus kind of thing going on.
What?
Snuffleupagus?
He's imaginary. Did you just call me a giant brown elephant? That's what I think you're saying.
No, he's not brown. He's purple.
He looks brown to me, dude.
No, he was brown. But
Jesus
everybody
Christ.
on Sesame Street...
Maybe Mike's like a figment of our imagination.
Mike is Batman.
Well, did you ever notice that Big Bird's best friend was Snuffleupagus.
Yes.
And back in the 70s and the 80s, when Snuffleupagus used to come around, nobody else would see Snuffy.
Right, he was his imaginary friend.
Well, that's what everybody thought.
Oh, okay. Because
every time Snuffy was around, nobody else was. Then all of a sudden, that Snuffy would have to go somewhere or do something when Gordon or whatever their names would come around, and they'd be like,
Gordon.
Snuffy was just here, right, Big Bird, So it was. They all thought it, but then there's one episode where everyone actually does get to meet Snuffleupagus.
So everyone was sort of like. So Big Bird was like sort of Neo in the Matrix.
That's right.
He just had this knowledge that was existential and okay. That's pretty deep.
Yeah,
great analogy.
It was
and
cool.
then Sesame Street got bought by HBO, and now it's like what Revolutions is to the Matrix. Terrible.
So I actually
I never did they really change it that much because
it's all right. It's not as good as the original, but they're good. And Sesame Street's the same way. It's because I do watch it now. I have a young daughter, and I've got her into it, and it's not the way I remember it, but it's still good.
But I can't see it changing up. No, wait. Sesame Street has changed since the 70s, of course. It's very.
Mr. T's not on it anymore.
Well, it wasn't, and it wasn't focused on the street itself in their portions. Now, when my kids were watching Sesame Street, there was Elmo's World was a segment.
Yeah, still
there was little segments that had
Counting with the count.
No, there was if you saw the count, he was in a segment only that delved with the street, but it wasn't.
Really?
You didn't always see the count. There was Elmo. Elmo was in it all the time. Big Bird.
He's the most
Elmo's
popular
like-
character.
Kelly.
There's an autistic
the monsters.
one now, eh?
Oscar.
There's an autistic Muppet.
Yes.
Telly?
Yes, there is. No,
I
not
don't know
Telly, but there's an autistic little girl Muppet now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know her
really?
name.
I think-
Yeah, it's a good character though. I like it.
But,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like in in the lore of the show, do they call them Muppets?
No,
Like
No,
so what do they call
No.
them?
the monsters are monsters.
They're not
Monsters.
So Elmo is a
Exactly.
monster. Telly is a
So they're
monster.
all monsters.
they're
Uh,
monsters. Except for
there's,
Big Bird.
Baby Bear. Baby Bear is a bear, of course.
Right, Big Bird's a
Uh,
bird.
It's a bird.
Big Bird's a bird.
Snuffy
what's,
is an acid trip.
What's the fairy girl's name? You
I
would
don't
remember that.
I don't remember.
Anyway, they're named after. You don't see the count very much. You don't see Grover much.
Grover's the best. I loved Grover, man. And his segments were always so good.
Ernie and Bert, the last time I seen was a claymation segment.
Yep, it's
They
that
were,
way
they
now.
were animated claim by clay.
Um,
Bert, what did they call him? Bert and Ernie's Great Adventures or something?
I'm not sure what it's called, but I turned it on the other day, and it was animated Bert and Ernie, and I was furious.
Oops.
But I liked them. I liked them for what they were. I thought the animation was good on it, and it was different from the rest of it. So I didn't have a problem with it being on the TV.
It was Bert and Ernie, The Life of Brian, Bert and Ernie Up in Smoke.
Yeah. Bert and Ernie,
Bert and Ernie next movie.
Ernie Go to White Castle.
Bert and Ernie, the Empire Strikes Back.
Bert and Ernie, The Wrath of Khan.
Bert and Ernie, the Phantom Ernie. The Phantom Duck. There we go. Rubber Ducky, your midichlorians are the one.
But those are people, right? Bert and Ernie would be like people.
They were
Yeah,
like
they were-
they were human.
So
yeah.
they wouldn't call them anything but people.
And like the weird chef. Is it like a chef or is he like a... Because he has like a round head and glasses. And he's always with that little...
That's
whatever.
Bunsen and
Beaker.
Beaker.
Speaker.
That's from the Muppet Show.
Yeah, that's the Muppet
Yep.
Show, dude.
See, no,
all
I get
Muppets.
it mixed up.
See that? Yeah, that's a different story because they called it the Muppet Show.
The thing,
No,
the
they
thing
didn't.
about Bert and Ernie, though, the way I remembered it growing up in the '80s and early '90s watching the show was Bert and Ernie almost. In fact, I can't think of any time they ever showed up on Sesame Street, on the actual street. They were
I
their
remember.
own segment, and it would like be, they would come in and you'd see Bert and Ernie like talking, or Ernie singing his Rubber Ducky song or whatever. But you would
Yeah.
never see them come on to the actual street and interact with Oscar and Telly and Big Bird.
That's actually I can say the opposite of that. I've seen Ernie come out and hang out with
On the stoop.
on the stoop. And do you know where their apartment is?
No, I don't. Probably on
It's the
Sesame Street. though.
basement apartment. It is on Sesame Street, but it's the basement apartment. That's right. You know where that very the stoop, the
Yeah.
concrete.
Yeah, where Gordon lives.
Yeah,
Right next to Oscar's trash can.
Basement corner.
I did not know
There.
that. That's a good fact.
Yeah. That's where their apartment is.
Did you also know, excuse me, that there was a Game of Thrones episode of Sesame Street?
A Game of Thrones?
Yes, there was.
I know. I've heard about it, yes, but I have not seeked it out. I did not watch it.
That
I'll send it to you guys.
That
It's
almost
hilarious.
seems weird.
No, it was weird, but it was cool.
Yeah.
And it were musical chairs with the Iron Throne.
Nice.
And
Well, I guess if they get bought by HBO, they're
right,
gonna.
yeah, and
It's like
it was
let's
sort of
throw that
musical
in there.
thrones, and they were going around, and like it was like sort of the theme song,
Yeah.
and they all went to sit on it, and Ned Stark tried to sit on it, but Joffrey sat there first, and Ned was like, kind of got annoyed, and then someone was, oh, it's fine, don't lose your head, Ned.
No way.
And I was like,
Spoiler
no.
alert.
I was like, no kids are gonna get this. And
So, was the characters done as Muppets?
they looked amazing. They looked
That's so
much
cool.
like the actual characters. Like Ned Stark had like the wolf pelt and
Oh my
stuff like
gosh.
that.
Yeah.
I can swear. No, I can't. I'm on our podcast now. We can't swear anymore. And like Joffrey had like he looked like Joffrey because he had like the red sort of like red and gold sort of tunic thing with like his hair, and there was like Jaime with a golden hand, and then it was Cersei, and it was so good. And
That's so strange.
It was amazing, and I couldn't believe that it was real. I was like, this can't be real. It cannot be real. So I looked it up, and it was.
I can understand Star Wars. I can understand when Star Wars came out in the 70s and it was attached. It got attached. They put the droids into Sesame Street too. But
they had a little Muppet Luke. I remember that.
I don't remember the Muppet Luke. I remember C-3PO and R2-D2 going down Sesame Street.
Muppet Luke was on an episode of The Muppet Show. They had Mark Hamill on The Muppet Show, and they had a Muppet Luke that followed him around.
It was Luke Mark Hamill as he is now, and everyone's like, "Who's that leather Muppet?"
Who's the best Joker? No, he does the best Joker voice ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
amazing.
as Kevin Conroy is the best Batman.
Yep.
Yeah.
He. Oh God.
That's right.
You ever see a picture of Kevin Conroy?
He's weird looking.
Hardest looking human being alive.
He looks he was put away wet and beaten hard. Yeah. He's a rough looking dude.
The leather Muppet.
No, but he kind of like Kevin Conroy looks like he's just chain smoked and done heroin. Like at the same time, one in each arm, just giving it to her, you know. And it's just, but he's amazing voice. Like he voices all the Batmans in all the games. And did you see Injustice is releasing characters for their fighting game all the time?
Yes.
They just released the Joker, and it is the most disappointing fucking Joker I ever seen in my life.
Oh, so they got Jared Leto.
No, Jared Leto was. I thought he was good, but it's Leto, all right?
Oh,
and,
well, what do you? Tomato.
And they released this Joker, and I think he's voiced by Mark Hamill, but he looks like this edgelord with this long black trench coat and like this sort of long emo hair, and I'm like, what is that? That's not the Joker.
Yeah.
Is these stupid? Because he doesn't have any comic stuff. Like he doesn't have any Smilex gas. He has like a knife and a bat. And I'm like, this.
That don't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's Casey Jones.
You can.
And it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I'll try to find it and send it to you.
And you can't really change up for the games. Like,
well, he was also dead.
I seen also
Superman
some of the.
Killed him.
What?
Superman in Injustice Comics, Joker gave Superman the fear gas, Scarecrow's fear gas.
Yeah.
A nice segue into nerdy action nerdy things.
Yeah.
And the Joker stole Lois Lane, put her in a nuclear submarine, rigged up some sort of like wireless thing to her heart and a nuke that was in the middle of Metropolis. And no, his heart. And
so if he died.
So well, he kidnapped Lois Lane, put her in a nuclear submarine. So Superman lost his fucking mind because they were married, and Joker caused her to have a miscarriage. She was pregnant with Superman's baby.
Oh my lord!
And
that's
so
dark.
Joker, like, I don't know, punched her in the stomach super hard, and she like had a miscarriage. And then he put her in a nuclear submarine. So he sees Superman up tearing apart his submarine trying to find her.
Yeah.
And he finds her, and I think he accidentally kills her. So then Superman goes mad like crazy, and
nukes Metropolis.
No, he punches the Joker through the chest, and then the Metropolis goes down. Wow. So then Superman goes. That's the Injustice storyline. That's where it starts. If you're sitting in the bar that fucking high,
yeah, that's.
But apparently it's really, really good.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But yeah, like I don't know how I got onto this.
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
Yep.
But Kevin Conroy voices him in all the games.
Yeah, as well as all the animated movies, animated series.
And Mark Hamill has done such a good job. They haven't asked to change Mark Hamill from the Joker. So,
I mean, I'm sure Mark loves doing it too. I mean, that's an iconic character he's got there, and that gives him two iconic characters in his life he's played. I mean, he's really covered the nerd gamut, so to speak, and he's really great as both characters. It's great.
Comic books and Star Wars.
We're not even going to look at that. What did he play in the Jay and Silent Bob movie?
Yeah. Cockknocker.
The big fists.
I got punched in the dick by a guy named Cockknocker.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of Kevin Smith myself.
Excuse me again.
But
I'm okay with Kevin Smith. I like Clerks is amazing. Okay, the first Clerks. Mallrats is funny. Jane Silent Bob Strike Back is a funny movie, but a dumb movie. But it's a stoner comedy.
Yeah, that's right.
Dogma is fantastic, but though I do like Dogma a lot because it actually
Dogma was
very good. It's less comical and it had amazing actors. Obviously, Dogma is a spectacular movie, but pretty much anything I've seen since, and I haven't seen everything he's done since. Clerks 2 was disappointing.
Didn't like Clerks 2. I didn't like Clerks 1.
No, I didn't like Clerks 2 either.
I love the original Clerks movie. It's just
the original Clerks movie.
Yeah, but the second one I did not care for very much. And
me neither. I haven't seen the second one. I think I've seen it once.
I watched it one time when I was really stoned.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I laughed my ass off.
Rosario Dawson and all that.
She is. So. I think she's very attractive.
Very attractive.
You can never really take a Kevin Smith movie for the most part and put it in the same sort of category as what's being with like a
what is lampooning?
Well, no, you can't really watch it with the same kind of I don't mentality as if you were watching a Stanley Kubrick film, for example.
Well, clearly,
right?
Like, yeah, I mean that's comparing like Cheech and Chong to
Space Odyssey.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, but the fact of the matter is, there's still
and one's cinema. That's a big difference.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Because one's meant to be taken seriously, the other one's meant to be watching your stone.
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's even comedy movies that, like, one of my favorite all-time comedy movies that I think is absolutely brilliant, and the people that make it is brilliant, was Dumb and Dumber.
I was gonna say that. I
love exactly gonna say that too. That's a movie that it's great.
The
took stupidity.
Humor is aged
such a
so
great.
The humor is still funny.
Yeah,
it's well written.
It's great. It's excellent,
and it's well acted too. I mean, they had Jim Carrey at that point was at the height of his goofiness.
Was his, zenith of his acting ability.
It was no. I disagree with that, Matt. He became a better actor later on. Yeah. But in terms of that goofy, just way out there characterization, over the top. Yes, that was the zenith of that style.
It was this perfect role for his sort of like stupidity.
Right. It was Ace Ventura kind of toned down,
Yeah, and I love that movie. I love how they made everything like every 2 seconds it felt like they were saying something so ridiculously stupid. If you didn't pay attention to the movie, you would miss it. But you knew it was stupid.
It was also effortless.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was effortlessly funny and not self-aware, which I thought was good. Because when movies become self-aware and they try to be funny, I don't really like it.
Yeah.
Like while I kind of liked Deadpool, I didn't really like it that much.
Yeah.
Because it was just like...
It's a parody, though. Deadpool's a parody, so it's aware that it's supposed to be funny, and it goes over the top.
But see, I don't really like Deadpool on that merit a lot. I don't really like Deadpool much anyway. I'm not a big fan.
And you know what? And I think it was such... And going to the Deadpool side of things, you're right. It is a great movie.
It's funny. I liked it.
It was good. I enjoyed it. But it's not something I own on Blu-ray. I never bought the Blu-ray.
Funny thing is, I do own it on Blu-ray. I buy every Marvel movie.
Yeah, I know you do.
DC. But
that is the difference, though, between a Deadpool and a Dumb and Dumber. I mean, if you ask anybody our age, anybody from the age of about 28 to 45, to name their top 10 favorite comedies of all time, every one of them is going to have Dumb and Dumber. Nobody's going to have Deadpool.
There's going to be at least 3 Jim Carrey movies.
Yeah, that's going to be in there for sure.
Because I love Me, Myself, and Irene as well.
Oh, that's such a funny movie as well.
Oh, I love Me, Myself. But see, I love Jim Carrey with the brothers.
Farrelly Brothers. The Farrelly Brothers.
Oh, Farrelly.
Farrelly
Brothers.
Wachowski Brothers did the friggin' Matrix.
So. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that was the Wachowski sisters. Formerly brothers, now sisters.
Brother and sister.
The Wachowski brothers.
The Wachowski siblings now, because it was transgender.
Yeah.
But no, the thing is about Dumb and Dumber, it's because it's ageless humor where it's like the
Quack.
that went on in that movie will always be
Always
funny.
be funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
Another thing.
Because
No, go ahead.
topical. It's not topical.
Right.
That's right.
That's what I want to say, right? So
yeah, it can stand on its own at any time.
Absolutely.
I just because I'll be at work, and when I'm at work, I just become mindless, and I'm just doing whatever, and something will pop into my head, and I'll just start laughing. And Mike tends to see me, and he'll come up, and we'll just be talking about whatever I'm laughing at.
Yeah.
Because it must be him like a crazy person. But the other day I was doing something, and I thought of when Harry tries to set him and Mary Swanson up, he's like, maybe she meant 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, yeah. It's like, well, why would she want to meet you to bar at 10 in the mornings? I thought she was a raging alcoholic. I just started laughing. I had to stop at my pick table, and I was like, just laugh my ass off.
That's
And
what's
then
so
Mike
great about that movie is if you ask 10 people what their favorite line is from that movie, you'll get 10 different answers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because something
Everything
in it
is
so
hilarious.
stupid, but it's so funny because it's so
like Lloyd's fantasy where he's beating up all the people and punching
So
buddy
good.
I love it, he bites him. He bites him in the nuts twice.
When they're on their way to Aspen, and he trades the truck for the
Little
little.
fucking little
Just
go-kart,
when I
little
thought
bike.
you couldn't get any stupider, you go and do something like this, and totally redeem yourself.
They got a high five and they miss.
They missed the high five. It's the best.
It's just-
Samsonite? Swanson?
Slippy, slappy, swappy.
Samsonite.
It might be on the case.
I was
Samsonite.
way off.
I'm way off. Yeah,
New
I
started
love
with an
that.
S though.
You know what line in that
Yeah.
movie always made me laugh? It's the dumbest thing. They're in the hotel room near the end. They got all the money, and they're sitting there. They're reading the newspaper, and Jim Carrey, he's reading a newspaper, and the first word is "the." He's like,
To host
to
a mule.
Harry,
Yeah,
what's it
this
say?
is a hard one.
That's
This
a
is
hard one.
The.
And I love how they're in the hotel room in all their excess, crying at TV commercials.
Yeah.
And they're wiping away
Wiping their
tears
face
on
with $100 bills.
Well, they're sitting in the hot tub and
drinking beer.
Harry looks at him and goes, "Yeah, I was with this girl Frida Felcher who felt like we were going to be together forever." And then 2 weeks later, she sends me a John Deere letter. Not a Dear John letter, John Deere letter. So it was.
I called her up. It's like she gave me so much crap about not listening to her something enough. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what she said.
Yeah. Anyway, we
quote
could
that
keep
movie all
going.
night.
Yeah,
We could
there's
go. Like I said, I love that movie for
Not
what
to be
it was.
Nick Lewis, but let's not quote movies all night.
yeah, okay.
But anyway, I'm going to change the topic. We're going to go towards the Nintendo side of things right now because
that's
All
it.
right.
they're doing some smart things.
This
with
is the screw
the
Matt
release
part of the evening.
Switch. Best-selling console to date.
What?
Best-selling console to date.
Cool.
But they're doing stupid shite too.
You can swear. I'll bleep it.
Yeah, they're doing stupid shit.
Quack.
They
What?
okay.
What's your
So
language?
if you live under a rock and don't really know yet, Nintendo has discontinued the NES Classic. I want that sound effect from why? Because you know what? You can make so much money off of just that alone.
I mean,
if
I
you
was
continue.
trying to buy one.
Everybody.
So-
I did
If I-
too. I made rant videos about how I was unable to get one.
Did you
Yeah,
ever
no,
get one?
I see
No,
them.
no, and they just discontinued it a couple weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten one, and I refuse to pay 3, 4, 5 times the retail amount on it.
Right.
And,
exactly. Like a normal person would.
Right.
You know. I mean,
It's not worth it.
I have a lot of those games on the Nintendo Wii from the eShop. Okay.
So do I.
Here's the thing. I looked at the lineup that's on that system. I will probably never play, I would say about 75% of them because I
Yep.
don't like them.
I
Tecmo
agree.
Bowl, I'm not a football fan enough to play a football game.
Me neither.
So that kind of crosses that
I
out.
also
There's a
don't
lot
know.
of the filler is stuff that's like
Sports. Racing.
Um,
Talking of racing.
I agree that there are games. There are games that were left off of it that would have been better suited for it. I understand why they couldn't put those games on there for licensing reasons. But that being said, I disagree about your 75% thing. There were 30 games on there, and me personally, I've played every single one of those games, and I liked every single one of them. I don't love every one of them, but
no, exactly.
Games like Mario and Zelda, those games I've already played. I owned them 3 or 4 different times on different Nintendo systems through the Virtual Console over the years, and I would replay them again. But some games that are on there, like Balloon Fight, or like Kid Icarus or something, are games that I played as a kid and haven't played since. And it would have been nice to get those for that price tag of $2 per game, which is what it would have been.
That's right. But would you really spend that much time playing Balloon Fight again?
No, but you know what? Playing maybe with my daughter, I would.
Oh, that's true. It would be a new thing for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I sat down with Ice Climbers with my youngest there a couple of days ago, and he enjoyed it for 5 seconds. That was it. He literally 5 seconds. He didn't like it for very long. And you know what?
But he's been playing modern games for a long time too.
No, he hasn't actually. No? He's a very big Super Mario child.
Okay.
So like I put on
big time.
True. I put on the original Super Mario Brothers, and I let him have the controller. And now the child is 4. He's 4. He sat down in his third continue, like starting over 3 times. He was one-manning right to the 4th castle.
Yes, boy.
One man.
That's pretty good.
So that's not bad. And obviously, he don't know about the warp zones or anything like that.
Know about the whistle.
Warp pipes.
Well, Super Mario 2.
The whistle's in Mario 3, yeah.
He didn't know about the warp pipes, so he never would go to. But the fact of the matter that in one life from the time he pressed start on that controller, he made it to. Now, to continue on, I can see him playing Super Mario 1, Super Mario 2, and Super Mario Brothers 3. They love Super Mario. My kids love Super Mario. That's just... They love new Super Mario Brothers Wii and Wii U. They're great games. They're simplistic in how they play, but enough depth to them that it makes them interesting and fun.
Especially Mario 2. Mario 2
Mario
Quack.
2 is
out there.
Yeah, it's different.
Well, it wasn't originally a Mario game. That's why.
Yeah,
it was originally like
Doki Panic.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a from what I gathered, Doki Doki Panic was made for a festival in Japan for something like beds or something.
Yep, that's absolutely correct.
Was it beds?
It was something like that, but it was for a festival for some company.
Yes, it was for a festival for a company, and they made it, and
they reskinned it.
Then they reskinned it. Well, Nintendo, because when Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan came out, it didn't automatically come over to the United States.
It was too hard, too difficult.
It was too hard. They said it's
audiences.
too hard for American public. So,
which is true, because it is hard as hell. It's a hard game.
It is. And at the time, I mean, people weren't... I remember playing Super Mario Brothers 1 when it came out, and that was like, to me, to get to the castle was, I mean, I never really had that kind of stuff. I mean, it was new to everybody. I mean, that controller, the whole idea of jumping on things and, going around like that was a new concept to a lot of people. So to get good at it took a long time. Now getting through the levels seems like cakewalk now, but it wasn't back then.
Like, whoa,
this is so.
It was a brand new concept, that I can remember.
Exactly.
Just a short story. I remember the very day that my dad bought a Nintendo for us. I was about 6 years old. He brought it home. He hooked it up to the TV in the living room, and him and my mom stayed up all night playing it. And it was Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, the pack-in title at the time. Whenever I went to bed, they were on World 1-1. Whenever I woke up in the morning to go to school, they were still playing, and they were on World 1-1. They couldn't grasp the concept that you had to move with the control pad and hit the jump button at the same time in order to jump forward. So they would get to like a pit and they would stop and hit the jump button and wonder why they couldn't get any further. And this was completely foreign to them. It was foreign to me too. But, you know, when they finally let me play the game, I figured it out really quick. Now, of course, I was a young kid and, you know, I was into... You know, I had like a Commodore and stuff, so I was kind of into games, and I had a better idea of how games worked. But it goes with your point as to where at that particular moment in the late '80s, video games were foreign to everybody. So
yes, exactly.
A game like Mario that comes out that's such a high polished game that was so replayable and so good like that at the time. It's no wonder why Mario is as popular as Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's why Mario's in like 250 something titles, is because it's a great franchise, and Nintendo really, really nailed it.
And they don't need to change that. And it's brand recognition right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So you know that if you're buying a Mario game, I mean, there's always a certain level of polish for the most part. There are some really bad Mario games, usually out on the 3DO or on the Panasonic 3DO. They did put out a couple of bad Mario games, which like Mario's Hotel. Have you heard of that?
I've seen like screenshots of it and stuff.
It's garbage. It's garbage. It's not even worth looking at.
Isn't there like a Mario typing challenge?
There's a Mario, and there's like a
Mario does math.
I got Dr. Mario.
But awesome. Dr. Mario is awesome.
Dr. Mario is fantastic.
Yes, exactly. What was the name of the one where it's sort of like all card games from Las Vegas? Mario Game Gallery.
Yeah.
And all it is you're playing against Mario, who's the dealer.
The dealer.
So I mean,
House always wins.
He obviously, like, I mean, there is some bad games, not very many, but all the rest are for the most part are like are really good.
You can't strike gold all the time.
Yeah,
you know, you can't always have a Mario 3 or a Dr. Mario or a Super Mario World
or even Mario Galaxy.
But that being said, you know, the reason that those games are legendary games, those mainline games, is because Nintendo does put more time, effort, and money into those particular titles.
And so they always get it back.
They always get it back.
They always make it back.
Super Mario World is the best example, in my opinion. That game is, in my opinion, probably the greatest Mario game and one of the greatest video games ever made. Super Mario World, and you got to think, that came out in like 1991. That game is so good. It's still today. It's one of the games that gets, you know, the most speed runs on Twitch and YouTube. You know, it's incredibly popular because they nailed it, man.
Well, and it's also one of the first games to, because of the Super Nintendo's power, was able to add the mechanics of Yoshi and, you know, the flying.
3D.
It had.
Yoshi's the game changer on Mario World. Yoshi, and all the secrets too. There were a lot of secrets in that game, and that was a big thing at that time, was to have all those unlockables, you know, more than just a warp zone, you know, 100 different zones and all just
different paths. And
there's nothing we can say about that game that hasn't already been said, but it was a genre defining game. When somebody says, hey, what's a platformer? What is a platformer video game? The first game they go to is some iteration of Super Mario Brothers, and most people these days will go to Super Mario World because a lot of people who might have been slightly too young for Nintendo had Super Nintendo, and Super Nintendo was the top dog, you know, for 5 years or so. And that was the game that was packed in with it. Everybody played it, and it's, to this day, it's amazing.
And that's the thing too. I mean, when I went from going, like, I didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up. So for us, it was when I turned 16, the Super Nintendo was out. I went and worked a summer at a place that my father used to work at in Nova Scotia. I worked out in the vineyard. I worked at a winery, basically, the vineyard.
Didn't he have an interesting neighbor?
Yes, yeah. But we said that, but that's in another episode. So if they've already listened, they've heard that.
Remember, because we said you tell the story in this episode.
But I already told the story in another episode.
We're sorry, Mario, but your hairy anus is in another castle.
Hairy anus was in another episode.
I got confused.
Where was I going with this? Oh, okay. When I went and bought my Super Nintendo, I bought my Super Nintendo because at the time, when I bought my Super Nintendo, obviously the Genesis was out. And when the Genesis was out, it wasn't very long into its life till Sonic the Hedgehog came out.
2 years.
Yeah. By the time I had bought my Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo was out because I really wanted Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo kicked
Really?
Amazing game.
ass.
I've never played it.
You've never played
I've never played a Street Fighter game.
Street Fighter 2?
Oh my gosh. It's wonderful.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Although I know how to do a Hadouken
Yeah.
or whatever.
Back then, to me, Street Fighter was...
What's so amazing about it?
It was just...
And
it was
leave
different.
I'm going to have to ask you to do something difficult and leave the fanboys on the side, both of
Well,
you. What's so amazing about it?
it was the best in the terms of... It was better... To me, it was better than Mortal Kombat because everybody had their different moves.
So,
Like, a punch by Ken didn't look like a punch by Blanca.
Okay.
A punch by Chun-Li or a kick by Chun-Li was different than a kick from any other character.
That's
like
right.
they all had their different move sets.
The characters
And
were
all
more
the enemies-
unique, for sure.
Yes, very unique. Now Mortal Kombat, they all looked different, but they all had the same punch. They all had the same kick.
They all did the big uppercut. They all did the big same roundhouse. Everybody did the same sweep kick. Now everybody would have their special moves that were different. But you're absolutely nailed it. They were the same.
About Mortal Kombat's special moves was its barrier of entry. I found it so difficult to do anything in Mortal Kombat games.
I disagree, and I'll just real quick. I'll tell you why. The button to mash the buttons in Mortal Kombat to do special moves were the exact same combinations they were in Street Fighter.
I don't remember the
I do.
down
like down to forward low
moves.
punch in Street Fighter would be like Ryu's Hadouken. Down to forward low punch in Mortal Kombat would have been Sub-Zero's freeze. So it's the same. Yeah, it's the same motion. How the controls handle from one game to the other is different. I always felt that Mortal Kombat was a little more fluid in terms of the controls, which is why I prefer Mortal Kombat to Street Fighter, but I still love Street Fighter.
I found it was
Sub-Zero was my guy.
Yeah,
I was a Scorpion guy myself, but I was also
I love the graphic design of all the Capcom characters. I just like
that's where Street Fighter is superior in my opinion. The design, the fact that they were from different parts of the world. You had to fly to Brazil to fight against Blanca, or you flew to India to fight against Dalsum. That was excellent, and I love that about Street Fighter.
But anyway, that's why I went and bought a Super Nintendo.
Sure.
But if I was to buy, like I was saying, I bought a Super Nintendo with money that I made when I worked that summer, I could have bought a Genesis and got Sonic the Hedgehog. But I didn't really like Sonic the Hedgehog. I found it was inferior to Mario World for sure.
Definitely
by leaps and bounds. You couldn't say that Sonic was better. It wasn't.
Sonic is a
Mario
one-dimensional
Brothers
game.
Way better.
Sonic's a one-dimensional game. Sonic is about go fast. That's all it is.
Yeah. And then
I still love it. It's still great. But it's not Mario.
There's whole levels of you slowed right down. So really, what's the point? I remember I just played it.
So like the casino, man.
Or
the
marble. The second level is like marble something, and you're walking.
Zone.
You're walking slowly the whole time, jumping from block to block. It's like, okay, this is not the whole idea. I thought the whole idea behind Sonic was to go fast. Other than the first zone, you're
a platformer.
Yeah.
So you're complaining about jumping on platforms in a platformer.
Well,
yeah, but
the difference though
was to go fast.
The difference, in my opinion, with Mario was about precision.
That's right.
And the controls are so tight in Mario games. And what I mean is, when you hit the jump button a certain way, You know where you're going to land. In Sonic, it was different. In Sonic, if you had a little too much momentum and you hit the jump button, you would overshoot the platform. Then you had to go back to the beginning and do it again. If you didn't hold it enough, you know, and I understand that's a challenge. And that's the point, as Matt said, of a platformer, is to jump from platform to platform. But Sonic didn't have the intricacies that Mario had. And
no, he didn't. He didn't have that tight controls.
To me, every zone felt the same in Sonic. They look different. You know, there's underwater zones. There's a really great zone. It was like Casino Zone, where you're in a giant slot machine. It was awesome. Yeah. But
Casino Nights.
Yeah. But like, it doesn't have the personality that Mario had at that time, or even to this day still has. And that's coming from a huge Sonic fan. I love the 2D Sonic games.
And Sega never really continued on with the caliber that they put in that really was grabbed in the first Sonic. Even though, like, I don't really care for the first Sonic games as much as I do like the original Mario games, they still never, like, they've struggled with a good mix in how to make a good Sonic game. And I think it's because of that speed. Because with how they are dealing with speed, making Sonic fast, you don't have time to maneuver these characters and have a fun game, right?
Well,
so
that was kind of the point of Sonic, though, was that Sonic required a lot of memorization. After you played Green Hill Zone for the 50th time, you started to remember, hey, whenever I'm zooming past this loop and I get to this cliff, you know, I got to make sure I hit the C button right before I hit that cliff, or else I'm going to skip over the next platform. Yeah, so, you know, it's
and shit like that.
Yeah, what's funny is, like, I can play Sonic the Hedgehog 2 today, and I could probably still have, like, that muscle memory to play the first zone, because I've played it a million times and had it memorized. Whereas if I play, although I've played Super Mario World 100 times, I can still find different and new ways to complete a zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the difference.
I used to be able to finish the first 3 zones, not even, like, turned around from the TV.
Yeah, that's what it was like. That's what Sonic was like.
Because it was formulaic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
There was no sort of, like you said, dynamicism. There was no dynamics to it. It was formulaic, and I was 6 years old.
And so it was run fast.
Yeah,
it was run fast. Well, there was lots of tubes.
I mean, his name is Sonic. I mean, the name signifies fast.
It was cool. It was cool for what it was. Don't get me wrong.
Kind of intricacies are you looking for, right? You know?
But I don't know. It just seems like with Super Mario, there was so many different ways you could. It seemed like every block or two there was a different way to go through that area, or be killed by something else, or you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You had to you were constantly being tested, where Sonic was just a long version of holding right on your controller. For a lot of it, a lot of the map was just here, hold right. Okay.
And that's
jump now.
To kind of generalize. That's why Nintendo beat Sega.
If you want to generalize, I'm just saying.
Well, no, there was a lot more. You had to pay attention more to a level of Mario than Sonic, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but for the most part, both those games, you had to get from the start to the end.
Oh yeah,
you had to go right and jump at the right time. So it's the same.
Yeah, but there was less. But if you take a Sonic level and actually see how many jumps you have to do to get through that level, as it does to get through a Mario level.
Yeah,
it was a bit, you know what I mean? Like it seemed like you said, you even said you could turn around from the TV and get through the level.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Without looking at the TV, I mean, how would you?
I could tell by the sounds.
Really?
Yeah.
You knew where all the bad guys and the spikes were.
Yeah, and I knew where to jump on the robotic wasps. And where to get the little shield power up and then get 10 rings.
Yeah.
Finch, can I get a time check there?
Yeah. It is 44 minutes.
Okay, we're gonna cut her off. It's 12:03.
But anyway, we were just want to cut this, get this end done. This episode went really fast.
Yeah.
I guess we just like talking. So, but yeah, Nintendo's doing something stupid because the people want the NES Classic. Going back to my original thing I was saying. People want the NES Classic. Nintendo, you could make a lot of money if you just continued. Why are you doing this to people? But whatever, man. I don't think I think it would be just a flash in the pan on my entertainment system anyway. So
Finch, I just checked the hockey scores.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't say nothing.
No, don't do what?
Don't tell me the score. Don't tell me who won.
It's
Don't even tell me if the game is still going or not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But anyway.
2:19 left in the third period.
Well, at least it's only the third period.
Not over.
It's not in
period.
fourth overtime because the game's been going on for 3 hours now.
They still got to go to the end of the third. So, but anyway, this was 1337 FM Nerd Talk Radio, episode 33. And it was good to have you, Mr. Jeff Finch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was nice being here from far away.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, or Podbean for the audio version of my podcast. It's called The Jeff Finch Experiment, or JFX. You can also find me on YouTube. Simply type in The Jeff Finch Experiment, and it'll come up. You can find me on Twitter at FinchJFX. You can find me on Twitch at FinchJFX, where I have been streaming The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We did not talk about that in this episode, but we should have. And soon I will be streaming Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch.
I'm playing the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild. I absolutely love it.
It's amazing.
I love it. It's so much fun.
We could do a whole podcast just talking about that game.
Yeah, easy, and the fact that it's the simplicity of it is absolutely awesome. They did it right.
They did it the right way. They've set the bar high. They have reset the bar on open world games with this game.
Yeah.
Every open world game that comes out starting next year and for the future forever is going to be heavily influenced by Breath of the Wild. It's that good.
I agree.
It's that good.
I agree. Yeah. And if you don't like the breakable weapons, then
Get good.
Exactly.
Well,
get good.
But the fact
That's
of the
why
matter
it's
is, I know why it's there. Because they don't want you to just grab one weapon and that's it. And that just continue the game with one weapon. And because if you have one sword and you went through that whole, and that's the only sword you had through the whole game, fighting enemies would be boring after a while.
There'd be no challenge. No challenge at all.
No challenge at all. This is it. What they did was it's not like you can't find the weapons.
They're everywhere.
Right?
They're everywhere. Everything you kill has a weapon. So you're picking up weapons constantly. So
it's not like there's not different weapons everywhere. So you get all different stuff. It's absolutely wonderful. If you haven't played it on if you have a Wii U, you can get it for Wii U. I haven't played the Switch version. I haven't seen any slowdown. That's the only thing that I would think that would be an issue.
Higher resolution on the Switch. It's 900p as opposed to 720p on the Wii U.
Okay.
And it does cause a little bit of slowdown, but only in really only one area of the game. I won't spoil it.
900? It's placed in 900p?
Yeah, it's 900p.
So
on
how
your
does
TV.
it show up on your TV? Then?
On the TV, it's 900p. In handheld mode, it's 720p.
Yeah,
but it actually looks better in
TVs only
handheld.
shows 720 or 1080.
No, 900p. It's in between them. It's the pixel density. It's still 16 by 9 or 16 by 9. What do you call?
Are you saying it's 960?
900p. Look it up, dude. That's what it is.
Seriously, that's the first time I've ever uttered it on a computer monitor.
Right.
That
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's
Anything
900p,
other than 1080 or 720 on a TV.
That being said, though, even in docked TV mode on the Switch, it looks amazing. Sure, it'd be great if it was 1080, but all their other games are in 1080, so I'm not complaining. The content is so good that it's worth the little bit of lack in the graphics, so it's that good.
Well, I mean, 1080 is only really, really necessary if it's so detailed that it needs to be so detailed that you can see the individual eyelashes on a character. I mean, it's very cell shaded, so it has that all like it has that openness to the colors anyway. So you really don't need too much.
Not for this game, no, not like you would need in like a shooter or something like that, where you need that detail. But in this game, it's more about playability, and it's all Zelda games really. It's about
the playability
of the game itself.
And it's so massive. It's just
we need to shut up about it because I'll keep talking. It's that good. We should just do a whole podcast on it. And it's that good. And if you're even considering picking it up, even if you're not a fan of Zelda and you have a Nintendo system that plays it, you need to get it. It's that good.
Just to anybody buying the Wii U version, make sure you got 2.5 gigs open on your system.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. But whatever. Anyway, this was like we said, 1337 FM, episode 33. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on the Twitters. You can find us on the internet at 1337 FM, Nerd Talk Radio. And you can find us on website. I just said that. And YouTube. And we are on iTunes if I ever get off my arse and continue to upload those because I'm lazy and I'm stupid. So I apologize for the So anyway, have a good night.
Episode, and we'll see you next time.
We'll talk to you later. Hopefully Mike will be back for the next one. And
hopefully Mike.
Thanks again for coming, Finch.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Later, dude.
See ya.